Imagine this. You're in the middle of an important conversation. Maybe it's a job interview, a meeting with your boss, or just a chat with a friend. You want to describe something perfectly. You know the exact word you need. You studied it yesterday. It's right there on the tip of your tongue. But when you open your mouth, nothing. The word vanishes. You feel a little embarrassed. Your confidence drops, and you end up using a simple word like good or bad instead. If this has happened to you, I want you to take a deep breath. You are not stupid. Your brain is not broken. In fact, your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Today, we are going to talk about why we forget English vocabulary, and more importantly, the 5 psychological strategies that will help you lock new words into your long-term memory forever. This isn't about memorizing lists or staring at a dictionary for hours. This is about working with your brain, not against it. Let me tell you a quick story about how your mind actually works. Think of your brain like a very busy, high-security office building. At the front door, there is a security guard. Let's call him the gatekeeper. Every single day, thousands of pieces of information try to enter the building. New English words, the song you heard on the radio, what you ate for breakfast, the color of a car that drove past you. If the gatekeeper let every single thing inside to stay forever, the building would overflow. It would crash. So, the gatekeeper's job is actually to delete 99% of what you experience. When you read a list of 20 new English words, the gatekeeper looks at them and says, "Are we using these to survive right now? No? Goodbye." And he throws them in the trash. That is why you forget. Over the next 30 minutes, I am going to teach you how to trick that gatekeeper. I will show you how to wave a big red flag at a new English word and tell your brain, "Wait, do not delete this. This is important for my life." Grab a cup of coffee or tea. Sit back, relax, and let's change the way you learn English. Strategy 1. The first strategy is what I call the emotional hook. Psychologists have proven that the human brain does not remember words based on how many times you see them. It remembers them based on how deeply you feel them. Let me give you a real-life situation. Imagine you are studying vocabulary, and you see the word devastated. The dictionary says devastated means extremely upset or shocked. You say to yourself, "Okay, devastated means very sad." You repeat it 10 times. Devastated, devastated, devastated. 2 days later, the gatekeeper has thrown it in the trash. Why? Because it was just letters on a page. It had no soul. Now, let's change the strategy. Instead of looking at the dictionary definition, I want you to connect the word to a real, emotional memory from your own life. Think back to a time you felt that way. Maybe it was the day your childhood pet passed away, or the time you worked for 3 months on a project at work, and your computer crashed, destroying everything. Do you remember that heavy, empty feeling in your chest? That is devastated. If you write down a sentence like, "When my first dog died, I was completely devastated," your brain instantly connects the new English word to an old, powerful emotional memory. You are binding the new word to an existing neuron network in your brain. The next time you want to express deep sadness, your brain won't look for the English word. It will look for the feeling, and the word devastated will come right along with it. Stop learning words in isolation. If a word doesn't matter to your emotions, your history, or your daily life, your brain will delete it to save space. Strategy 2, spaced repetition and the leaking bucket. Our second strategy deals with a famous psychological concept called the forgetting curve, discovered by a psychologist named Hermann Ebbinghaus. He discovered that when you learn something new, your memory of it drops like a rock within the first 24 hours. If you don't review it, you lose about 80% of it by day 2. Think of your memory like a bucket with a small hole at the bottom. You pour new words into the bucket. You feel happy, but over the next few hours, the words slowly leak out of the bottom. Most students make a huge mistake here. They try to patch the hole by pouring more words in all at once. They study for 4 hours on a Saturday. But by Monday, the bucket is empty again. The psychological secret to fixing a leaking bucket isn't adding more water. It's refilling it just before it completely runs out. This is called spaced repetition. Imagine you learn the word reluctant, which means you don't want to do something, you are hesitating. You learn it on Monday morning. Instead of repeating it 50 times on Monday, you look at it once on Monday evening, just as it's starting to fade. That triggers the brain. Oh, this again? Then you don't look at it until Wednesday. Then you don't look at it until Sunday. Then 2 weeks later. Every time you review the word right at the moment you are about to forget it, your brain strengthens the connection. It's like lifting a weight for your memory. You are telling the gatekeeper, hey, look, this word keeps coming back every few days. We clearly need it. Move it to the long-term storage room. Instead of studying 100 words in one day, study 5 words a day, but review them across a week. Give your brain time to forget a little bit and then pull it back. That is how the muscle grows. Strategy 3. Micro-storytelling. The power of context. Strategy number 3 changes how you write down your vocabulary. We are moving away from word lists and moving into micro-storytelling. Human beings are hardwired for stories. Before humans wrote books or built schools, we sat around fires and passed down information through stories. Our brains love narratives because they create a mental picture. Think about it. Do you remember the list of vocabulary you studied in school 10 years ago? No. But do you remember the plot of your favorite childhood movie? Yes, why? Because the movie gave you a story, characters, and a landscape. Let's look at a real-life situation. Let's say you want to learn 3 words today. Immaculate, perfectly clean. Cluttered, messy, full of too many things. Procrastinate, to delay doing something. If you memorize them as a list, you will mix them up. Instead, let's create a 3-sentence micro-story about your own life. Your friend, or a funny character. Let's create a character named John. John wanted his apartment to look immaculate because his girlfriend was visiting. However, his desk was completely cluttered with old coffee cups and papers. Instead of cleaning, John decided to procrastinate by watching YouTube videos for 3 hours. Look at what we just did. We created a little movie in your mind. You can see John, you can see the messy desk, you can see him avoiding his chores. When you try to remember the word immaculate, your brain will remember John's apartment. The context gives the word a home. Never let an English word live alone on a blank piece of paper. Give it neighbors, give it a home, give it a story. Strategy 4, the active recall test, brain friction. This next strategy hits a big psychological trap that almost every language learner falls into. It is the trap of passive comfort. When you open your notebook, look at a word, look at the definition, and say, "Ah, yes, meticulous means very careful about small details." Yes, I know this, you feel good. You think you have learned it. But psychologists call this the illusion of competence. Recognizing a word when you look at it is passive. It requires zero effort from your brain. It's like watching someone lift weights at the gym and thinking, your own muscles are growing. When you are in a real conversation, your notebook is closed. Your brain has to search through the dark rooms of your memory and find that word with no help. If you haven't practiced that search, you will fail. To fix this, we need active recall. We need to create brain friction. Your brain only values things that require effort. Here is how you do it in daily life. When you review your vocabulary, hide the definition. Look only at the word meticulous. Force your brain to hurt a little bit. Sit there for 10 seconds and think, what did this mean? Something about details? Yes, being very careful. That 5 or 10 seconds of struggle is where the magic happens. That friction sends a signal to the gatekeeper. Wow, the user is really struggling to pull this file out. Let's make this file easier to find next time. Don't just reread your notes. Test yourself. Use flashcards where the word is on the front and the meaning story is on the back. Make your brain work for it. The harder it is to remember a word during practice, the easier it will be to remember it in a real conversation. Strategy 5. Physical anchoring, the body-mind connection. Our final strategy uses the connection between your physical body and your subconscious mind. It is called physical anchoring. We often think that learning a language happens entirely inside our eyes and our head, but psychology shows that our environment, our physical movements, and our senses are deeply tied to our memory. Have you ever smelled a specific flower or a type of food, and instantly you were transported back to your grandmother's house when you were 7 years old? Your brain anchored that memory to a smell. We can do the exact same thing with English words. When you are learning a new word, don't just sit perfectly still like a robot. Use your hands, change your voice, or move your body to match the meaning of the word. Let's say you want to learn the word astonished, extremely surprised. Don't just say the word quietly. Say it out loud, open your eyes wide, gasp, and throw your hands up. Say, I was absolutely astonished. It might feel a little silly if someone is watching you, but inside your brain, something incredible is happening. You are not just storing an abstract language code. You are storing a muscle movement, a facial expression, and a change in your vocal tone. The next time you are speaking English and you want to express surprise, your body's natural muscle memory will trigger, and it will push the word astonished right out of your mouth. Engage your senses. Use hand gestures. Walk around your room while studying. Speak with drama. Give the word a physical existence in the real world. My friends, learning English vocabulary is not a test of how smart you are. It is simply a game of understanding your mind. Stop trying to force hundreds of words into your head using old, boring school methods. Use emotion, space out your reviews, build small stories. Force your brain to struggle a little bit and use your body. If you apply just one of these strategies this week, you will notice a massive shift in how quickly you remember words when you speak. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today on the podcast. If this episode helped you see your learning in a new way, please hit that subscribe button, leave a comment with your own micro story using a new word, and share this video with a friend who is also on this language journey. Keep practicing, stay confident, and remember, your English is growing every single day. I'll see you in the next video.